Hey everybody, I don't talk about sports on my channel, but I have learned a lot from sports. And I actually did open up one of my videos in the past with a comment about Kobe Bryant. Maybe we can take a moment here to talk about a few things about him that I noticed. I'm a huge fan of Phil Jackson, who was Michael Jordan's coach, and coached the Lakers to their 5 championships this millennium. And I've read a couple of Phil Jackson's books. And Phil Jackson's books are largely about him trying to deal with Kobe Bryant. And I don't think most people, and even most basketball fans, understood a couple things about how Kobe Bryant thought. And there's some things about his personality that I want to focus on. So really quickly, if you don't know, Kobe Bryant was drafted out of high school in 1996. He played for the Lakers, was considered to be the next Michael Jordan. He idolized Michael Jordan and tried to basically learn and do everything Michael Jordan did. So people often interpret him as being an incredibly hardworking player, which he was, and having an incredible will to win basketball games, which he did. But not in the way that people think. Because Kobe Bryant worked incredibly hard and played incredibly hard. But there were games, in the playoffs even, when Kobe Bryant would play differently.
I remember the not shooting game against Phoenix.
Game 7,
yeah, I'm not shooting. So what the
He's
fuck
like,
is going
here's
on?
how bad.
Likewise, Phil Jackson pointed out several times that Kobe Bryant knew how to play basketball correctly, meaning he knew how to be unselfish and run plays and pass to his teammates. But he wouldn't do it, and he would hold the ball and take a bunch of shots that he shouldn't. And people never really knew exactly why he did things like that. But I think there's a real reason. And this is what I think makes Kobe Bryant such an interesting topic. And I think a way to really at least gain some insight about how people work. That a lot of times we don't even realize ourselves. And that is that people have different motivations in life. And a lot of times those motivations look like one thing, and then something specific happens, and all of a sudden those people do wildly different things. And I think that basketball fans, and even the basketball media, didn't exactly see Kobe Bryant the right way. Because what I noticed about Kobe Bryant, and now this is a pretty specific thing, but bear with me here, is that Kobe Bryant did want to win at basketball and to be a great basketball player, but those were actually not his main goal. Those were part of a larger goal, which was that Kobe Bryant wanted to be better than Michael Jordan. And winning at basketball and all those things were just part of doing that. Now, what's the difference there? Well, when one of your goals in the morning is to get in your car, that's part of a larger goal, which is to get to work or school. If you found a different way to get to work, you wouldn't get in your car. If it's the weekend and you don't have to go to work or school, then you won't get in your car either. So the main goal you have is the most important thing. And that's how to understand what people do. And I think how to understand what Kobe Bryant did. Growing up, he watched Michael Jordan on TV and idolized him. And from what I've read, it was obsessive, and he even made his girlfriend at the time watch basketball tapes with him. But think about this. He was a kid at the time. So a kid seeing all those Michael Jordan games didn't see it the way a professional basketball player or coach would, like the plays or exactly why Michael Jordan shot and when. Phil Jackson actually said that Michael Jordan was one of the only basketball players he coached who had games where he almost never took a forced or bad shot. They were all within the flow of the offense and not selfish. But think about a kid, like young Kobe. What he saw was Michael Jordan shooting all the shots and not passing the ball. So in his mind, that's what he decided to be. He wanted to be the thing he saw then, but better. And the way our minds work is funny. We build our understanding on top of things we know previously. So that childhood goal, to be better than his vision of Michael Jordan, was in the core of who he was. And you could see this when he first showed up in the NBA. He was like a Michael Jordan jukebox set to random play. He was focused on the what and how of Michael Jordan's moves, but not the why and when. So for one example, Michael Jordan's fadeaway, an unblockable shot. Kobe practiced it and used it himself, but I noticed that Kobe didn't realize that Michael Jordan would step back and jump back when he shot, which gave him extra space. Kobe would just jump back. So as a result, the defensive player was always in his face when he was trying to shoot it. And Kobe practiced until he could still make the shot, but it was much harder. And I was basically confirmed in that when I heard this.
He asked me one question when we been down at half court, and he wanted to know how, when I turn around on my jump shot, to how to get to feel the defense. I told him you should feel the defense with your legs.
It was harder for him, but he didn't know why. And Michael Jordan didn't know what Kobe was asking either. But Kobe did eventually figure it out on his own. But that's the whole idea. His effort went into all the mechanics, and he wasn't as interested in the parts he didn't understand as a kid. And as a result, even when he learned later about when and why you're supposed to do things, he still had that basic idea from when he was a kid. And so, when Phil Jackson would ask Kobe to pass the ball, or do things that his vision of Michael Jordan wouldn't do, Kobe would shut down. winning in a way that Michael Jordan wouldn't wasn't something he was interested in. So if we can look at people's motivations like this, a lot of the subtle differences in what they do can be understood. LeBron James, for example, is and was an incredible basketball player, but he was known to shrink from pressure. You hear a lot of generic comments on TV about that, but there's a real reason for it. Michael Jordan wanted to prove everyone who doubted him wrong, so he learned early on to keep fighting when people beat him, and that he could eventually win. LeBron is different. He was always bigger and more athletic and talented than the other kids, then eventually richer and more famous than other people, so he could always take what he wanted, and his goal became to amaze people with his abilities. That's why he did fancy dunks and layup lines and likes to shoot from half court. But also, LeBron didn't know what to do when someone was more powerful than him. He never learned that part. So, at least early in his career, he would get confused and shut down when he ran into more dominant basketball teams. And instead of adjusting, he signed with a bunch of other stars to take the championship by force, by simply being more powerful, having more talent, which is the way he learned to get what he wanted. So, people have a lot of different sides to them. Virtues, problems, successes, and mistakes. And to understand them, I think we have to look at all those things together. Kobe Bryant was an incredibly dedicated player who fought hard to win championships and is a great inspiration to people who want to achieve their own dreams. But if we do look at him and everyone else as a complete human being with goals, I think we can learn a lot more from them and have a greater appreciation of their lives. My heart goes out to his family and everyone who was lost in that accident. We'll be back soon with more content on our normal topics, and thanks.